Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sanderson, Frank Friends, with another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today we have Chauntille Roberts, Nevada State Assembly District number 17 candidate. But before we get to Ms. Roberts, Frank, you have any rants?
Yeah, quick one. Get out and vote. Stop complaining about a system you're not participating in. How about that? And remember, if you guys vote now, you can actually have more control over the election as in November, because you have the opportunity to put the candidate you want in now. So go out and vote tomorrow.
Absolutely. Ms. Roberts.
Yes, my name is Chauntille Roberts. I am running for Assembly District 17 and just making sure that we have increased social services for our veterans, our youth, and our seniors, increase access to education, increase teachers' pay, and getting that insured rate down over in North Las Vegas.
Hi, Ms. Roberts. Give us a bio.
Oh, it's a long one now. So I am.
What are you like, 24?
I've done a lot in 26.
Oh, she's 26.
Look, 26 and a lot. So I've been a community advocate since 2016. And through that, I've trying to transition over to direct service. So working with youth who age out of the foster care system. I've been doing that for about 3 years. Got promoted to CEO back in July.
Correction officer?
No, right, as a CEO of a nonprofit. So we take youth who age out of the foster care system and provide them with wraparound services.
What's the CEO means?
CEO.
Oh, CEO.
Yeah, Chief
I
Executive
think you
Officer.
said CO.
Oh, no.
Okay, Chief Executive Officer.
Yes, so we provide housing to youth who age out of the foster care system, food pantry services, job workforce development, job training skills, all of that. And
How long have you been doing that for?
I've been with El Shaddai Refuge Homes for 3 years now.
Do you have any kids?
I have 2 kids. I have a boy. I have 2 boys, a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old. He'll be 4 tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yes.
What's his name?
Josiah.
Josiah, happy birthday.
And she said vote for her for his birthday present.
That's what you need to do.
on Tuesday the 11th is his birthday.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What sign is that?
Gemini?
Okay.
Yeah, Gemini. I'm not really good with the signs. A lot of people like the signs.
My eldest son's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, look at birthday twins.
And my youngest daughter's birthday was on the 7th.
Nice. You got 2 Geminis.
Yeah, I'm broke now.
When the
We're
birthdays
always
is
broke,
close.
Steve. They take it all. They take all the money.
They take everything from you. So, tell us about District 17. What are the boundary lines?
So when I describe it to people, I say it's as north as you can go, as east as you can go. So it gets you all the way up to the VA hospital, which is as north and east as you can go, all the way down.
You can go further than that.
You can't really go over there. It's nothing over there. It's
Nellis.
But there's nothing past the VA hospital either way, really.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
You know, once you get to
Hey, look, we do a lot of shooting out there.
You know, I go to the VA hospital all the time, Ms. Roberts. In fact, I was there today. And you know, when you turn into the VA hospital, usually over in that empty lot right there, people have all their signs. Do you have a sign up there? I don't remember seeing one.
I do not have a sign right there. I have one up the street from there.
You might want to represent right there, because that's
Right there.
that's
I
a
might
good
have
spot.
a sign right there, actually. I didn't put my signs up. My campaign manager that was here, he put all the signs up. So I might have one over there. When was the last time? I went to the VA hospital. My grandpa's a vet, so I'd be having to take him to his appointments. And I don't remember seeing a whole lot of signs over there when we went, but I just be trying to be in and out of that building because it's so big.
I like that VA hospital.
I like it too. It gives all the services we need, but I be trying to be in and out with him because he's a little older. It's hard. I don't know. He's 75. Oh, wow. So he got bad knees. He be moving slow, so it's trying to get in and out with him.
So you have 2 children. Husband, boyfriend, girlfriend?
Fiance as of Saturday.
Okay. Oh,
just got engaged. Yes.
Pop the question.
Right, out of nowhere.
Drop to both knees, one knee?
One knee, not both knees would have been a little crazy. But
was it in front of a whole bunch of folks?
Not that many folks, just a nice, quiet little restaurant, and got down.
Were you expecting it?
You know what? I'm nosy. It's a good thing, right? So I knew it was happening. I was going through stuff, and I was like, oh my God, it's ringing. I called my best friend, and I was like, I think he's going to propose to me. And she was like, yeah, I know. He told us. Why are you so nosy? Mind your business. And then So 3 weeks later.
Opposed to, that's your business.
Right. That's how I feel too.
Congrats. So you're running for district number 17. You have a primary election tomorrow. How you think you're going to fare?
I don't know. I'm really expecting to see what happens mid-election. For transparency, I had a cancer scare mid-election.
You did?
I did, yeah.
A cancer scare?
A cancer scare. A cancer.
26?
I know. What's in this food?
You smoke?
No, I don't smoke. I mean, I drink on occasion.
Hennessy?
A little bit. So I had a cancer scare. I got a call like, hey, you got to do a
biopsy.
Yep, I had a biopsy. It came back as something high stage dysplasia. I'm still trying to figure out what it means, but it basically is like my body is producing cancer and fighting it as soon as it comes off. But you know when you hear
your body's
like
producing it and fighting it?
Yes.
So your body's fighting itself.
Yeah, they call it, when you like look it up, they like consider it to be like stage 0 cancer, which is like, so you can be in dysplasia for like up to 5 years or a couple months. Mm-hmm. So I had that happen and it kind of like threw me off the campaign trail, and then I got out of it and I've been back on it. But I'm going against a lot of manpower, so I'm expecting to win. And if I don't win, I'm going to run again, right? And if I do win, I can't wait to see what I can bring to my community.
So you're in a Democratic primary.
Yes.
You've been knocking on doors, right?
Yes.
And what are the concerns of your district?
A lot of people are this rent.
The
rent. A lot of people are unsettled about the cost of rent. Some concerns about crime. We've had, a young boy just was murdered 2 blocks away from my house.
Wow. And
he was a minor. They won't reveal anything about him because he was a minor. So he was just murdered. A couple weeks before that, my best friend's cousin also was murdered in my district. The boxing gym over on Commerce and Chauntille just got bullets shot through their window a month ago. So there's a lot of concerns about
crime is your thing.
Right. It's a lot of crime concern, but what are these youth gonna do? You know, we got Ty's place in there and they talk about how they don't know if that's gonna be able to be sustained, and the youth need to have something to do. So right, crime is a concern, but how are we gonna be proactive against crime, right? These kids need to not just be hanging around and have nothing else to do but play around with guns and be, gang involved or whatever.
Right. So you got a judge here in Nevada that just gave a kid, but call him what you want, 2 to 10. Mm-hmm. He's probably going to serve more towards the 2 area for shooting up a bus. Mm. So if crime is a concern, why are we allowing judges to hand out these light sentences? Because you shot up a bus full of people. That should be 1 attempted murder charge for every round fired, and a bus full of people, plus the dude you were shooting at because you're trying to rob him. And the judge just happily takes the sentence down 2 to 10.
I don't have any opinions on that necessarily. I think that the sentencing is what the judge deemed to be fit. I'm not in that role. However, I can't say that somebody being in prison for a longer time and coming out is beneficial either, because we have they're going into a prison ultimately that isn't sustainable for somebody to come out and be, contributing to society sometimes. They come out worse than what they came in at, so is giving him 20 years and then him getting out gonna be what helps him, right? So we also have to take a look at how we have folks.
What about the victims on the bus?
They deserve justice, right?
So is 2 to 10 justice for people being shot at?
What does justice look like to them? And that's a question that we need to ask the victims too. What does justice look like to you? Did they talk and speak? Usually on your sentencing, they talk and they speak before the sentencing usually
One
happens.
lady now has PTSD. She can barely sleep and she won't be riding a bus anymore.
Right. And there also should be, I'm a big advocate for restorative and transformative justice. So not just addressing the harm that happens to the victim, but also addressing the reason why this person committed crime in the first place so that we can stop that from continuing to happen. Like, it's a clear path of why people are committing crimes, right? Like, people are, I mean...
Do you know what the number one predictor of somebody committing a crime is?
I would say it's social status, right? There's social status usually connected to it.
Mental illness?
Nope.
Mental illness, what?
Raised by a single mother.
Really?
Number one predictor in the United States for a child that will commit a crime at some point.
Right. So that goes back to social status, though, right? Like,
well, no, social status would be your income and whether you're blue collar, white collar, rich or poor. It happens in all communities through all races. So it's not a race thing. It's basically if you're raised by a single mother, you're more likely to end up in prison, run away, early teenage pregnancy, commit suicide, or believe that you're the opposite gender of the gender you are at birth. All of that is being raised by a single mother.
What about raised by a single father?
Almost probable outcomes is the same as two-parent households. And when I say two-parent households, people need to understand that also means two mothers, two fathers. It doesn't matter about the sex. If there's two parents in the household, children do better. If they're raised by a single father, they do better. If they're raised by a single mother, they do worse. That's just statistically what the facts are. And the numbers are there.
Dads are more heavy-handed than moms? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's just that parents to support you, right?
Two parents supporting you has got to be better than one. I mean, that's just a given.
I can, and having a single parent also does, affect your income levels too, right? Like, usually people who are in a single parent household, they don't make much money.
Chauntille here is a single mother, right?
Yeah.
Raised
well,
two
she's in a committed relationship, and the children have a positive figure around, correct? So you have two children who are school age, correct?
Yes.
So in schools right now, we have books like Genderqueer, This Book is Gay, that show children how to cut themselves. They tell them that if you like white people, you're a white lover. And they teach them how to perform fellatio upon a strap-on. Do you believe these are appropriate books from elementary up to high school? And would you do anything to remove that from these schools?
No, I would not do anything that's out of, I feel that's out of my scope, right? But also, I have no information about any of these books. I've never heard of any books like this, right? But I also think it's important to recognize that, like, I'm a big believer of what we do in my house is what we do in my house. And my kids don't cross that line, and what you do in your house is what you do in your house. And I don't want to infringe upon anybody's rights. I think that is what makes America such a great place to be, right? Mm-hmm. It's the fact that, like, I can be unauthentically me and be free and have access to all of this stuff, and you can be unauthentically you, and I should not impose any of my beliefs on you, right? I am a Black Christian woman, right? Like, there's certain things that I don't support. There's certain things that don't happen in my household, but I could never be like, that's not what you should do in your household. And I also think that people who have opposing beliefs sometimes don't have access to certain things. So I do think that if that's what you allow in your family, that you should be able to access those things. And if the CCSD has access to those books, that's fine. It could be also a thing. I mean, when I was growing up, I remember they were protesting about God in school, right? I remember going to a Christian school and people, like, literally protesting outside of my school because I went to a Catholic school, actually. And the big thing is, like, parents don't want to have their children praying when they don't believe in God, right? Pledge allegiance to God. I might be Muslim. I might be atheist. And something that the schools did back then was allowed you to opt out of certain things, right? So, like, for example, sex education, a lot of parents don't believe that sex education should be taught by the schools. So maybe that is paperwork that you opt out of for your children. But I can't agree with taking that resource away from everyone, because we can't tell other parents how to parent.
Well, it's not given in the classroom with the parents' consent and notice. It's accessible to the library. So your son, you said, is 9. Mm-hmm. He can go to the library right now, pull out a book, and watch somebody give fellatio to a strap-on. Is that something you'd want your son exposed to?
Not necessarily, but if he was exposed to it because he is curious, I'm not gonna get upset at the school, right? Like I'm gonna have to have a conversation with my son about what fellatio is. And that's how because these kids, regardless of if it's in the library or not, they searching up blue waffles, right? Like in sixth grade, like just because it's accessible to them, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but I also don't think we should rip away resources that other parents could see benefiting their children to be a positive thing either. So I think we definitely need to grapple, like, where is that middle ground? Like, how could you be appeased and how can I be appeased? Maybe this looks like a section of the library that like is only on limits to people who have signed off permission slips from their parents.
It's proven that children exposed to pornography before the age of 12 are highly likely to become sexual predators and or sexually assault a fellow student or somebody later on in their life. So we know the psychological effects of it. Mm-hmm. There is no benefit from it, exposing them that early.
There's also research that goes along to say that sex education and understanding these things make you less likely to have teenage pregnancy. That's why we saw when we start having, statewide, nationwide sex education classes, along with that, teenage pregnancy started to drastically decrease.
But we have the highest teenage pregnancy rate right now, and we have the highest STD rates right now. So those would contradict each other.
Back in the day, our teenage pregnancy rates were skyrocketing. People were getting pregnant at 15, 16 left and right. A lot of our grandparents were getting, we know a lot of our grandparents and great grandparents that were pregnant at 15, 16 years old. So like it is going down. It could go down even more. STD rates are high, right? It's also because we're not very educated on sex as well. And education isn't what it should be still. Like these kids don't learn as much as they used to about sex education because a lot of the pushback, right? When I was going to school, it was a bigger thing, and then pushback caused it to be less and less of a thing. Because now they just learn about like their periods. What is this? But do they learn how to put on a condom? Do they know what that is? And
what's your educational background?
I have an associate's in philosophy, mm-hmm. and then I am pursuing a degree in urban affairs with a minor in public policy. So I'm actually done with the portion of that, and then I added on the minor last minute.
You sound very intelligent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I would like to know, what bill draft requests are you planning to bring forth, or did you thought of any?
I have. I would love to work with my community to come up with 2 bills, but I have 4 bills that I have thinking about. And something that you said that in the beginning of this is very important, that like, how can we complain about a situation when we don't actively participate in, we're not civically engaged, if you will. Mm-hmm. So something I'm rather passionate about is something that I'm calling the Nevada People Lobby Act. It's going to give you 8 hours a year to be civically engaged past the ballot box. We are so disillusioned with voting. We don't think voting matters. I'm Gen Z. I can't sit here and tell you that voting for Biden or Trump has positively or negatively impacted my life that much, right? I can't. I really cannot sit here and say that. Especially regardless on what side of the aisle you are on. I've talked to Republicans in the district and I've talked to Democrats, and they're like, some of them are like, I don't really care. That's why we have so many nonpartisan voters. They don't feel connected to either side. So like, how can I restore hope and democracy and, give people a voice, like amplify the voice of the community? And it looks like giving you 8 hours a year to lobby your legislators and talk to them and say like, this policy is hurting me. Because oftentimes they go to that city council meeting and it ain't nobody in the room. Any public opinion, ain't nobody there. We at work, we got jobs. So like, how can I get you there? And there's a lot of people that are boots on the ground doing the outreach. And I've been there. I've been an organizer before. I've been a regional field director before. And I can tell you people are engaged. Like, yeah, I care that my rent is so damn high, but I can't tell nobody about it. I can't show, I'm not culinary union with all these people I could just pull out of work, And those shouldn't be the only people showing up. Regular folks should be showing up. So I want to really make it accessible to regular folks.
Okay. That's one bill.
That's one bill. That's to me right now, that's the most important bill, because I really want to get people out there. Senator Spearman proposed a bill last session that would increase social services for women veterans in specific. Awesome. So it would allow more housing vouchers, if you will, or more money to go towards HUD programming for women veterans. So we have a lack of resources for women veterans in specific. There's a veterans thing, but we know that women veterans experience a lot of harm in the military, and they need a safe space to be. So I would be very interested in bringing that bill back so that we can get increased social services for some of these women veterans. A third bill is around housing. So I don't know what it would look like right now, but I know I would like to do something around housing. In about 20 other states.
Like decrease the housing rent or?
Yeah, so I'm grappling with what this looks like. So either a third of all, so real estate investors are coming to the state. They're not being held accountable, right? They don't have to do nothing. But we can require that all investors make a third of all rental prices, like rate capped at what the living wages in that area. And 20 other states have it, and it's how we can keep the rent lower for certain families. But also something else that causes rent to go down is more people having access to home buying. So maybe increase home buying programs for folks so that they can buy a home. We have the highest percentage of renters in the nation. If we want Vegas to be sustainable and we want people to move here, come here, bring businesses here, and diversify our economy, we need to get people out of the rental market so that they can kind of be tied to Nevada as their home. So I'm interested in exploring that a little bit more. And last but not least, I think there's a lot of room for growth when we talk about restorative justice for formerly incarcerated folks. So I would like to see some, New York signed a bill that basically allowed people with felonies, as long as they're not sexual offenses, to not be discriminated against for employment. So when we talk about
violent crime,
I have to look more into it, but it depends. But I know sexual, like pedophiles, rape, that's out. And then it also you cannot work in a field that's related to your crime. So if you did Grand Theft Auto, right, you can't work at a
car sales.
yeah,
I
you
know
know
how to steal these cars, so I'm gonna help steal these cars.
I'm coming back tonight with my boys.
Right. So they do have those restrictions in there. And what that would do is we have, Nevada specifically has really high recidivism. And I could see that reducing the crime rate indirectly because now we're not, giving formerly incarcerated folks like, yeah, you're out of prison now. Here's $1,300 that you got to pay every month, but you can't find a job. And I know there's a sort of willpower that goes behind there, but I think that would reduce some of that recidivism.
Have you ever been to Carson?
Yes.
And on how? What does that look like?
So last session, I had the pleasure of working under Senator Spearman as her legislative assistant. And I'm so thankful because she really let me be involved in the process. So I got to help with some bill draft amendments, and I got to sit in lobby meetings and really see how the process goes.
So you got a taste of it already.
Yeah, I got a little taste.
Okay.
I think I was crazy. She was like, you saw all that drama? You want to go back? Yeah, a little bit.
So I always look at the sessions, well, as a college fraternity, because everybody's got their own little clique here. And if you're in charge of a committee, let's say I'm chair of the Judiciary Committee, right? And I see your name on this bill for what you just talked about, right? And I'm like, she's a Democrat. I don't like her. And I toss it away. Do you think that the chair of a committee should have that much power? Or do you think that it should be amongst the committee, whoever is on the committee, to vote on each bill in their committee before it goes on the floor?
Absolutely, yes. That would be too much like democracy. So that is what democracy should be.
So the dictatorship is me being the chair, and I just don't like the bill. I'm not even going to put it out there, my committee people to vote. I'm just going to just throw it away and be done with it.
Right. No, that shouldn't happen, right?
That's how it is right now.
It is, yeah. It's a lot of pettiness that I don't really go for. There's a lack of government accountability. Kasama, I believe, is coming up with a government accountability bill. And if I get up there, I would love to sign on it, right? We need to, let's have a real democracy. Forget all this party politics, all of it. Like it's stupid.
I think it should be. I think if a bill is to better the people of Nevada, it should go forward. Regardless if I like the person that's sponsoring it or not.
Regardless if you're a Democrat or a Republican, we don't want to give the Dems a win. We don't want to give the Republicans a win. It needs to go. Like we can't. Like why do we play childish games at the expense of people's lives?
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, that's why you're endorsed by the Joint Veterans Group.
Yes.
So, what else do you have for us?
How
do you think tomorrow's going to look like for you?
I really don't know. I'm just chilling. I'm just gonna chill out, see how it goes. Knock on some doors, make sure people are getting to the polls. If I need to give some rides to the polls, I'm gonna go pick up my grandpa. And we're gonna go up there together. He's really excited to vote for me.
So you and your grandfather are tight?
Yeah, we're really close. He moved in with me back
in with you?
Yeah, in 2020.
Wow. You're a good granddaughter.
I am. It depends on the day. He don't agree. But so he moved in with me 2020, and he had got a divorce, and we just got really close, but his dementia got really bad, and so now we just.
So what about your fiance? Is he down with all that?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
she said he's along for the ride.
Right. He's down whatever from down.
He said, "Do you want to marry me?" She said, "Accept all this."
I did. Absolutely. And he agreed. He agreed. Yeah.
So your area, I know it as the Northeast Command. You're talking about like Nellis, Las Vegas Boulevard, areas like that. You still have the gardens over there. You have Eagle Trace.
Yes.
Yeah, you have all those places. That place has been plagued by crime for as long as I can remember, at least since 2002. And one of the best ways to diminish crime, to have crime actually diminish in an area, is stricter things on like home invasions and things like that, like stricter sentencing. But it's also an increase of citizens involved who get their CCW. Do you know what a CCW is?
Yes.
Do you have one? Are you willing to back people who have CCWs? Or are you more anti-2A?
Oh, no. I support the Second Amendment right. You don't hear a lot of Democrats saying that. I think you should be able to carry guns. Gun restrictions are... Carry one? I do not. I do not. I will when I have my CCW.
CCW
we should collaborate. So I strongly support people having the right to bear arms. And gun restriction laws are usually they're historically rooted in racism when you think about like the Deacons for Defense, the Black Panther Party, who legally bared arms. And after that, we have folks coming up with stuff to say, hey, like, actually, you shouldn't do that. And it happened when Black folks started arming themselves. I think that we should have the right to bear arms, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I will get my CCWs eventually when I start hitting the target better.
That's an easy 2-hour course to teach you how to do that.
All you gotta do is breathe.
It's sight alignment and grip and trigger squeeze is all
breathe.
It is.
It's breath control.
No, it's not breath. Breath control is distance shooting, Steve.
I like distance shooting.
I know you do. You don't even want to be around. You just like, got it. All right, call it a day.
Look, he fell.
So I don't know if you know this, but maybe this is something you can pitch to other Democrats. But I always hear Democrats talking about diversity and inclusion and things like that. Literally the most diverse group you have in America from 21 to 90 with every race, religion, background, sex. You even have people, immigrants, that are the most law-abiding are CCW holders. They commit less crime than off-duty police officers. So maybe that's a way to bring them around to...
Yeah.
Because I believe more people need to arm up, take their self-defense into their own hands. Because two things. People need to understand that you're worth protecting, and you're always your own first responder.
Yeah,
no matter what you get into, cops are always seconds to minutes away. You're always right there with whatever you're into.
I don't necessarily disagree with that as well. I also think part of being a CCW holder is there's a pride. There's like you have a certain pride in your community and your property, which makes you want to be a law-abiding gun owner, right? Because I think, yeah, being a CCW holder is great, but also like people also need to have pride in where they live. And why would I have pride in where I live if I can't afford to eat? So I think some things coincide, and there's like this bigger picture that we can look at. And I think we can look at statistics, and it could really narrow us down and put us in this really tight place. While I do think we should bear arms, I also think that we should have pride in our homes. And people do commit crimes when they don't have pride in where they live, right? I'm more likely to vandalize it if I don't give a fuck about this area. Excuse my language, right?
Truth is truth.
Right.
You know.
So yeah, and I think that comes from also community building. Like, I should know my neighbors. Like, I should be moving into a neighborhood and being like, hey, I'm Chauntille Roberts. I live right here. I have 2 boys. If you ever want to hang out, here's my number. If I'm ever too loud, give me a call. But instead, how we move into community is like, damn, they so loud, it's Saturday. Instead of going over to their house and being like, hey, I got kids, I got a baby, whatever, I'm gonna call the police because this is noise, right?
Just telling you from a standpoint of somebody who did armed security for 15 years, Jesus Christ, in places specifically what you're talking about. I've done it in housing, Sherman Gardens, Marble Manor. I've done it in the Northeast Command. I've done it in the Southwest Command. I've done it all throughout Las Vegas. When you have people do that and go to their neighbor and knock on the door, hey, 11 o'clock, I got to be up at 3. Could you? They fight. I believe that. There is no respect anymore. There is no, because there's also no accountability. Because when you have something like that going on, if you don't have security there, you'll call Metro. They'll get there when they get there.
Oh, yeah, no.
And then when they get there, half the time it's not resolved. And if the sound ordinance isn't loud enough, they'll just tell you, hey, it doesn't meet the sound ordinance, and have a wonderful day.
But a huge part of that is to first start with building community. Like, I should have built community in the first place so that my neighbor respected me enough to listen to my requests.
How do we do that?
It starts, go
Make
outside.
friends before the party.
Make friends before the party, right? Exactly, Steve. No. Yeah, I got 2 boys. I just transitioned from a house to an apartment because it was expensive.
Downsizing?
I had to downsize. The house was too expensive.
So you were renting the house?
Yes, out in the same area, like really up the street. Moved. I got 2 boys. I got a toddler that jumps. You know, when we first moved there, I did not build community with the people there. I was too busy trying to move in. And she kept calling like the leasing office on me and be like, they jumping. Also, there's nothing you can do. You chose to be on the first floor. That's basically what they would tell her. But I knew that I was bothering her because like, I'm like,
she gives you a dirty look.
Yeah, I know, but I went downstairs and I knocked on her door. I did it a couple times. The first time she ignored me, but the second or third time I went down there, I was like, hey, I just want you to know, like, you know, my kids have never lived in an apartment before, so they don't know to jump. And I apologize and I understand. I'll try to keep it down. But also, like, I want to be in community with you. Here's my phone number. It took a couple weeks. She don't call the leasing office on me no more also. But we were walking downstairs. Well, it wasn't me. My fiance was walking downstairs with the boys and they were going to the pool. And she stopped him and she was like, hey, you live upstairs with the girl, right? And she invited us to barbecue. And I think that's a perfect example of like, when you allow and open yourselves up to build community with people, we're more understanding. So now she probably like, I know they jump and it's 8 o'clock at night, but I know that she's trying because we often think of things as like we immediately.
She's not doing it revengefully,
right?
Spitefully,
right? Because we think sometimes we like, damn, you don't care about me. Like instead of like they have their own lives, we're centered in ourselves, and we need to start focusing on our other people, but we don't give people the benefit of the doubt because we're not in community with them. So I really think building community is really how we break those boundaries more than like these set parameters of what that looks like. Community building is where I'm at.
Well, Ms. Roberts, I adore you. I like you. I think you'll go far.
Thank you.
I think you really will. I think you have the spirit, the determination, the strength, and the knowledge to do it. And I wish you all the best tomorrow. And you have anything else for us?
Oh, good answers, good environment, good vibe.
Yeah. You got good personality on here too. Absolutely. Could you look into the cameras and tell folks why they need to go to the voting booth and vote for you for District 17 and any point of context you might want to give?
We just need to make sure that we get out and vote, make your voices heard, and try to be civically engaged past that. If you want somebody that is community oriented, I am your candidate. If you would like to reach me on all social platforms, it's Roberts, the number 4 NLV on Instagram and Facebook. And then my website is www.roberts, the number 4 NV.com. And make sure you get out to vote.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts. Folks, that's Chauntille Roberts, Nevada State Assembly District 17 candidate. She's been endorsed by all 4 veterans groups. Go out and support her. If you know anybody that lives in 17, call them up and tell them to support her. But get her in office. She'll do Nevada well. This is Steve Sands with Frank Friends with Veterans in Politics. Until next time.
It's an interview.
Now we got to take a photo.
Photo.